Pepper, leave the charging cable alone, please. Pepper, leave the cable alone. Pepper, no! Look at this guy. He was messing with my cables. You know what that makes you? Huh? You know what that makes you? An asshole. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm sorry. I didn't have a yellow flannel for this. Hopefully this suffices. Hey there, my name is Vic, and this is the White Virgin Mansplaining Hour. Everyone's favorite show on the internet, I assume. So based on the things that I just said, and also the way that I look, it should be pretty obvious that I love me some video games. They practically erased me. I figured because we're approaching a nice even 1,000 videos on the channel, I'd post a bit of a State of the Union, you know? Because even though such classics as Cummer Dressing and Will It Penis dot our history, this channel is, at its core, a gaming expo, showing you all the games that I grew up with and that you almost certainly don't care about. So a couple of things worth going into before I get into the list itself. All my friends had like the coolest new consoles and AAA titles. I grew up playing Flash games on the internet, and trust me, none of those made the list. So if a game that you love isn't on this list, chances are I haven't played it. Or that your opinion is wrong. Equal opportunity household. But first, some honorable mentions, because I'm quirky like that. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest, which I did not care for, and even though I played Blind Forest after Will of the Wisps had already come out, it's almost like they heard my complaints about the first game, which is to say that I think it's one of the best Metroidvanias ever made. It's beautiful, the boss fights are intense and challenging, and I just kinda wound up 100%ing it. Celeste is a fantastic platform with a really touching story, and just the most smooth controls that you could ever ask for. It's like the OK Computer of platformers, it's just the new standard. The only problem I have with it, and it's a big one, is that I think Chapter 6 is fucking horrible, and I hate it. I'm a FNAF fanboy, what can I say? I love the lore, I love the series, even though most of it sucks, got its hooks in me so deeply that at this point it's a part of my DNA. I think Help Wanted VR 2 actually manages to be an extremely fun VR game. It's much more expansive than the first, the minigames are fun, the endo daycare is a genuine 10 out of 10 experience. I just fucking goddamn it! I love it so much, and I think it is the best VR game I've played. I have not played Alex yet. I expect that to change once I do. Amori. A lot of Amori posters in the background, actually. Amori is objectively an S-tier game that doesn't make the list because I don't like turn-based RPGs. The story of this game, I'm not going to say too much, but just know that I was pretty much non-stop bawling for the last 3.5 hours of gameplay. It felt like I was shot in the chest, and then they poured lemon juice in it, and then they came on it, so it was religiously scarring too. That is an amazing game that if you think you can stomach it, you need to experience. It will ruin your life. And lastly, Metroid Dread is the only Metroid game I've ever played, and even though it's not considered the best one, I think it is a fantastic game, hampered by absolutely dogshit controls. It was a game that I fully intended to 100%, but fighting with the goddamn click stick made me want to eat glass and die. I feel like whenever that game gets re-released with a remaster, and maybe, heaven forbid, controls you can set yourself, it will honestly jump up to being A or S. Can you stop fucking with my cards? This fucking cat. Okay. On to the top 15. Starting off in A tier, these are games that I would give like a 90% to. Starting things off strong and controversial here, not because this is a game that I'm overrating, but actually quite the opposite. Hollow Knight is, in many ways, the quintessential Metroidvania. Huge map, magnificent controls, enchanting story, compelling art style, and more mods than you can shake a stick at. What's my problem with it? You know, I gotta be honest, it's just that I'm bad at it. People call this like a 40-hour game. I think my first playthrough was 100 hours. There are some lumps in these potatoes. For example, on rare occasion, this game falls prey to absolutely ass boss design, and this game has a certified stiffy for kicking you in the balls repeatedly and then stealing your money. Normally, when I get butthurt, I just stop trying, but with this game, it's just so goddamn fun that I just kept beating my head against that wall until I bust through. A lot of my little nitpicks like that are more or less offset by the absolute scope of this fucking thing, plus the fact that you can heal. You have no idea how many games on this list are here because of their excellent healing mechanics. That's the kind of thing I get a stiffy for, personally. The last 3 or 4 years in gaming have been absolutely phenomenal, at least for me. And let's get the obvious out of the way, roguelike fans have been eating well. I'm not really a roguelike guy myself, but the roguelikes that I do enjoy eat my life and deprive me of sunlight. And while I have thoughts about the direction the DLCs have gone, the original playthrough I had was just fucking delightful. Even though I got into it because of the top-down roguelike style, which you will come to find out I am a huge slut for, my favorite part of this game wound up being the city builder aspect. And it's one of those games, too, where up until the very end, there is always something on the fritz. If you don't have enough wood, you don't have enough bathrooms, you don't have enough food, you don't have enough people, you don't have enough worship, you don't have enough strength or stats, you don't have enough weapons, you don't have enough skill to beat the fucking roguelike. There were some genuinely clutch moments where I was like, holy shit, I don't know what I would have done if that didn't work out. Genuinely delightful game that I think is worth the hype. Plus, they're one of the only Twitter accounts I can think of that isn't AIDS. If you know Princess Remedy, you know Daniel Remar. And while that and EG are his best known games, I think that his best executed is, without question, Hero Core. In addition to a fantastic soundtrack and absolutely amazing boss design, Hero Core is a delightful, contained little adventure where a little spaceman floating around and shooting shit, and you can moonwalk, which makes it an instant 9 out of 10 at least. Hero Core is pretty simple. Go to the zones, kill the shit, get the upgrade, do it again, until eventually you are ready to beat the final boss. Or if you want, you can just kill the final boss right off the bat. Who's gonna stop you? Jesus? There's not much else to say about the game other than that. I think the enemy design is great, the art style is cute. Oh, and there's 3 separate campaigns too. Hero Core is free and like 20 megabytes. You might as well play it if this video ends. I think it's great. Number 12 is the first game on this list that I genuinely think I'm overrating. But this game is actually fairly disliked, and I, for the life of me, can't figure out why. Niflis is a Swedish game developer, I think? He made a level for Baba Azyu, so yeah, he's a genius. Knit Underground is his magnum opus, unifying the worlds of his Knit franchise and Withinity Forest. You switch between person and ball. Person climb, ball bounce. Hijinks ensue. And while that might not sound like the most thrilling gameplay ever, and trust me, it's not, Knit Underground is one of the most profound experiences I have had while playing a game. This game starts out with the typical end of the world is coming, only you can stop it fanfare. But even talking to like 3 NPCs, you'll immediately realize that people think your entire journey is bogus and they actively make fun of you for it. So pretty immediately the game confronts you with this question: why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing anything? Why bother? Like, genuinely. It's like a little chamber piece of complacency. Your adventure is so subdued and peaceful that all these characters being nihilistic almost seek to drag your experience down, and it's a matter of whether or not you allow them to. I mean, fuck, the game is more than content to lead you into completely vacant corners that amount to nothing. Perhaps more dead ends than actually rewarding side quests, and sometimes doing the right thing doesn't result in happiness, but that's just the way it is in Knit Underground. It's full of bullshit, and it's bad for you. I love me some Pikmin, and we've been starving over here, man. The only thing in the world harder than being a Cubs fan is being a Pikmin fan. For those who don't know Pikmin, you grow little plant guys, and then you throw them at shit, and then they die, and you feel like a terrible person. Pikmin 3 is one of the most gorgeous games ever made. Pikmin 2 is one of the most fun games ever made. Pikmin 1 got us those 2 games. Pikmin 4, however, is pretty much everything I wanted to be and more. Even though it makes a lot of choices that streamline the gameplay, almost to the point of oversimplicity, it manages to offset it and make it difficult in entirely new ways, which kind of reinvented everything I love about the series. The caves, the night explorations, Ice Pikmin, and Ochi. Ochi's great. I thought I was gonna hate him. The only real problem I have with it is the difficulty. I did the 20 Pikmin run to offset that. You can increase your squad's max size up to 100, and I elected not to. And my god, like, it was manageable until the fucking end. That last cave, like, oh my god. Finally, a Pikmin game sold well. Maybe 5 will not come out in the 2030s. Time for a new genre of recommendation that I'm calling games that I love and wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Lana Lana is one of the most diabolical things ever created. It is a Metroidvania-style archaeological ruins exploration game, which sounds fun because you can be Indiana Jones, but that comes at the price of a game that is actively trying to make you kill yourself. Is there a screen that does not have some sort of bullshit booby trap or annoying ass enemy or terrible backwards puzzle that is so obscure that it just makes you want to punch a hole in drywall? I can't think of one. I understand, I didn't solve that shit. I read the wiki like a Bible, but once you know, what you're left with is a delightful platformer with really fun boss design and incredibly high skill ceiling, plus the soundtrack fucking kicks ass. But again, if you like yourself, it's a crock of horse shit. Alright. Into A+ now. These are games where the only criticisms I have are basically invented nitpicks. Essentially flawless games in my opinion. These are like the gold standard. They affected me profoundly, and I think that everybody should experience them. Cycling back to difficult franchises to be a fan of, Pikmin at least got a huge shot in the arm last year. Meanwhile, Rayman fans are crying eternally and Ubisoft is laughing at them. Rayman Legends is perhaps the last good Rayman game there will ever be, because he has since been condemned to the eternal hell that is fools. But Legends is just about as good of a platform as you could ask for. Tight controls, inventive and wacky gameplay, fantastic boss fights too. Collectibles are extremely fun to get, and on top of that, everybody of course loves the fucking music levels. That's like a stroke of genius. It's cute, it's fun, no frills, just punch shit. I like punching shit. Will this be a theme in the A+ tier? I really don't have much to say about it other than just that I don't have any problems with it. Rayman Fiesta Run is not the same thing, and Ubisoft, you know what you did and you should be ashamed. I know you're not, but you should be. I'm probably gonna get flamed for this one, but I genuinely think that Doki Doki Literature Club is the quintessential visual novel. I'm sure everybody and their mom knows the rigmarole with this game as of now. There's nobody who hasn't at least seen it because it is free. I don't know, man. Like, I think it does a perfect job positively turning your gray matter to Play-Doh. And then when it finally clicks what this game is actually gonna be, all of a sudden it is a no-nonsense, non-stop thrill ride to the end. I think all the things that people levy against it, like the fact that the first act is oftentimes mind-numbingly boring and consequenceless, if anything, just makes the twist hit harder. They know exactly when to pull punches and when to let the punches fly, and it makes the game into an absolutely unforgettable experience, and something that genuinely haunted me for about a month after I played it. Number 7 is the most recent inductee onto this list. I remember my friends counting down the days till this fucking thing came out, and I did not know why they cared. They both beat it in like a week, all achievements, everything, and they were like, it's S tier. You don't understand. And yeah, it's great. It has room to go up. I just haven't had the amount of willpower it must take to truly experience this game to the fullest. Pizza Tower is Sonic if it didn't suck. This is what that gameplay should have felt like eons ago, and it is fantastic. Essentially, it's just get to the goal, punch a thing, and then get out before Pizza Face kills you, which is about as stupid as it sounds. The level design is pretty much across the board fantastic, and this art style like sucks. Literally every single frame is hilarious. You can't die, but you can lose your combo. And while that sounds on its face like a nothing burger hold the burger, there are some achievements in this game that I put maybe 100 attempts into. There is an extremely stratospheric skill ceiling. Every little thing they add doesn't feel like a gimmick, it feels like gravy. The boss fights are second to none. It's just so fun. You can beat the game in 2 hours, or you can spend 200 hours. No matter how you go about it, you'll have a fucking blast. Aptly number 6 is the 6th entry in a franchise that I love a lot. Bloons Tower Defense 6 manages to breathe new life into a franchise that I thought peaked with the 5th installment. Frankly, we all did, because these ones aren't very good. It's such a weird, hard to explain genre, because putting things down and having them kill enemies for you while you wait for money to pile up in your pocket, that sounds incredibly boring, but it makes up for it by actually being pretty fucking hard. There are 3 upgrade paths now, and you can cross path 2 of them, meaning you have to make concessions, which is surprisingly heartbreaking when you're first getting into the game. The community is alive, and it is still thriving, because they keep adding cool shit. Tower defense might not be the most stimulating gameplay out there, and the achievements in this game are downright cruel. For whatever reason, there's just enough ways to mix and match your gameplay where I haven't gotten bored of it yet. Now, contrary to popular belief, I actually do have friends. We do love ourselves some party games. Gartic Phone is second to none, and you've already seen Ross play it. It's essentially telephone, where you whisper a phrase into somebody's ear, and they whisper that phrase into somebody else's ear, and you just keep going around the circle until eventually the last person spits out what they heard, undoubtedly some sort of horrible abomination that once was sensical and logical. Gartic Phone is that same concept, except every other round is a drawing round. So you draw out the prompt, and then they try to interpret your drawing based on what it was supposed to be. We have hundreds of hours in this this game, and we've only ever been right like one time. In a private lobby, you can be as unhinged and deranged as you want, and nobody will hold it against you because you can just blame the person who drew it bad. It's a very simple concept, and unlike a lot of other browser games out there, the extra game modes are actually fun and transformative. Hours of gameplay in them too, and we'll probably do more Gartic Phone videos in the future. Gartic Phone is as delightful as it is deranged. It is so cursed. I have drawn things I am not even remotely proud of. I'd recommend it to anybody who hates their retinas. This is probably, it could be S. It's like, it could be S. Like, it's probably S. But, okay, here's the thing. This game is my most beloved game of all time, and that is Cave Story. Cave Story Plus, if you want to get specific. Needs no introduction. It is the king of indie. The thing is, I've played it so much that I have invented problems with it. I have played Cave Story so many times, on so many consoles, you could not get me to shut up about it. You know how much of a shock it was when I found out that Nico had never played it? He told me he did. Because I wouldn't shut up. I don't blame him. Simple platformer. Physics are kind of weird, but it makes up for it by having a very fun weapon system. You eat Doritos, you get a better weapon. If you get hit, your weapon gets shittier. Meaning the snowball with this game is immense. It's got a compelling story with weird cast of characters, and it's decidedly un-American style. Possibly my favorite video game soundtrack ever. Only bumping elbows with Undertale, maybe. And it just gives me this nice, warm feeling in my chest whenever I play it. It makes me so happy. Now, the creator of the game has said there will never be a sequel. 20 fucking years since this game came out, and I am still hoping. I love this game so fucking much it hurts. I need more, but thankfully there is more. Cave Story is more or less open source, meaning the fan community has graced us with countless fantastic mods that expand upon the story or tell their own stories. Jenka's Nightmare, Lost Land, Cave Story 2, What the Fuck Story, there's so many examples. There are even porn mods. I haven't played those, but it's still a fantastic game. If I could just skip the cutscenes, it'd be an S. That's it. Also, maybe the achievements should all work on launch, and maybe the 8th anniversary gift for the fans should not be fixing the achievement that was broken. That's just a thought. I don't know. I mean, I'm just an idiot. But otherwise, it'd be a S. Okay, now it's time for the S tier. The top 3. These are the gameplay experiences I genuinely thought were Euphoria front to back. If you believe it, they all came out in the same fucking year. Sophomore year of college, I was eating good. Now, based on my indie-leaning taste, you're probably wondering where Undertale is. Toby made Deltarune the way he did because he didn't think he could outdo Undertale. He was wrong, which is why Deltarune makes the list. Undertale, of course, changed the gaming landscape as we knew it at the time, but what sets Deltarune above Undertale is the characters are a step up. I am sorry, but it's true. The story is so intriguing, unbelievably funny. The gameplay is fantastic. I love the secret boss system. Oh my god. Soundtrack is great, and even if it doesn't match Undertale's, it's a lot more atmospheric and a lot more daring, which I respect a lot, actually. It keeps dropping out of the sky, too. Both chapters were announced hours before they came out. Like, who does that? And while I probably won't get to play more of it until I'm in my 30s, I remember staying up until like 3 a.m. with my roommates and just talking about the game, discussing lore, strange details, and making predictions about where the game was going to go, and all of it worth my time. There is no fat on this bone whatsoever. It's all meat, and it's fucking cooked to perfection. Deltarune is funny, fun, and sometimes it is fucking terrifying. And those are my favorite things, so I'm into it. Fuck is that? Hold on. There was a thumping coming from outside, and provided it's still there. Yeah. It's alright, but leave my bushes alone or I will kick you into the stratosphere. Here's my pitch. Everhood is Undertale meets Guitar Hero. You're sold, right? Everhood is a masterpiece. This game believes in a very minimal approach. It gives you all you need and nothing more. So that way it can reserve processing power for absolutely mind-bending and psychosis-inducing effects that will put your eyes in a fucking chokehold. The game has of course heard of Undertale, and it places its tongue firmly in its cheek, flitting and fluttering all over Undertale's moral code. It is weirdly philosophical, and it gets fucking dark. But beyond just being flighty, pulse-pounding, and ridiculous, the game's second act turned everything you thought you knew on its head. head and makes the gameplay somehow 20 times more fun. I have spent an unholy amount of hours going for no hits in this game. The soundtrack is truly amazing and it grows on me more over each time I listen to it. And there's a sequel coming out in a few years. I could not be more excited because I can't even imagine how you make a game like that better. This battle system is fucking genius because if you get hit and you don't get hit again for a small bit of time, you will regain health. Because when things are dire, you are focusing the most in being the least reckless. Even though this game will kill the shit out of you hundreds of times, you are never fucked. And I love that. You can even change the difficulty whenever you want. If a fight is giving you hell, you don't feel like dealing with it, easier difficulty. It's so simple, but it's brilliant. It's little things like that if they were in like every game, they would jump off a full letter grain. It's fucking genius. Oh no, my jellyfish are gone. Oh no! How long has that been like that? God damn it. Alright, let's finish this. And number one, another one of those games that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. If you've looked at this channel at all, you already know what it is, too. It's The Binding of Isaac Repentance. 20-something endings, 34 characters, 45 challenges, 100 bosses, 637 achievements, and 3 save files. Mix and match all of those, and you have the content of Isaac. At some point, my 2,000 hours are not all AFK. Isaac, of course, needs no introduction. It is the modern king of indie games, and I think it is that for good reason. It is grueling, and especially with this most recent release, it is incredibly difficult. But it keeps itself alive by having a great philosophy, and even more so, a rabid fan base. People thought Isaac was dead in the water after Afterbirth Plus came out because it was shown up by a fan DLC called Anti-Birth. And the creators thought smartly, well, if you can't beat him, join him. And so they hired him and they completely remade Anti-Birth into the official game. Plus they doubled that content and then they doubled the amount of characters they are, doubling that content again. It is unbelievable how much I have stretched those $50. The randomness and the abundance of content on YouTube have created an absolute monster that I don't think will ever leave my life, despite the fact that once I finished all the achievements and got dead gone, I took a much needed several month break and did not miss it one bit. This is one of those games that I truly do love. Grew up with me, I grew up with it. I never intended to fully complete it, but there would be intervals every couple of months where I would push the needle a little bit farther. I would kill the final boss, then new final boss. I'd kill that guy. Kill the next guy. Do a different character. Do another different character. Do it on hard mode. I just kept playing chicken with it for approximately 8 years, and here we are. Everything this game has presented me with, I love it, even though it desperately tries to make me hate it. And Tainted Lost got close, so there's that. Anyway, that's my tier list. I didn't expect to be talking for fucking 3.5 hours, but here we are. This took longer than the album ranking, so clearly I had more to say about the interactive medium. I guess makes sense if I put it that way. I hope you guys check out the games that I talked about. Of course, all in the description. If you want to give the free ones a try, they will be marked as such. I guess the last thing I'll say is that my Switch has been changing my life. I bought a Switch fully intending to play nothing other than Pikmin 4. But I played other stuff too, like Metroid and Breath of the Wild and Ori, and all of those got mentions on this list. I am in love with my Switch. I love it. So let me know games that you think I would like. Maybe I'll play them, maybe I won't, maybe I already have, who knows. And if you want to see more tier lists, you're in luck because I have listened to 50 more albums. And just so you know, I listened to your rap recs, y'all got good taste. So yeah, I gotta go because my voice is killing me. Bye. Why is this image so low res? These jellyfish look like shit. You can't tell because it's probably blown out to fuck for you, but my god, it's like this was exported through somebody's fucking asshole. This one too, what the fuck?